Alright guys, so I am coming up on the 90th day of being back on YouTube. I haven't been on platform for 5 years and I've been locked out of 2 different YouTube accounts from 2 different groups of people. So believe me when I say that this account is permanent. I'm not releasing any information, none of that type of stuff to anybody else. And I just want to talk to you guys, strictly, what I've learned about being back on YouTube for 90 days. What I have found from my extensive testing so far is that at first, and I created this video, which I might link over here, or I might just point the thumbnail out to you guys, but it's not going to click through. But I started out the channel with YouTube promotions. And the reason why the very first video I talked about YouTube promotions negatively was because the data came out pretty negative. Like we had positioned a bunch of content. We, drove our subscriber account back numbers up to 20,000, mostly international viewers, which I'll show you guys here. And the thing about it is that this particular audience, I thought they didn't exist, but it turns out that when you promote your videos for YouTube subscribers, it turns out that the advertising algorithm is going to give you actual subscribers. But there's just one caveat to those subscribers. They are going to be YouTube Shorts watching subscribers. They're not going to be the type of subscribers that watch the long form video unless you buy YouTube views from promotions. And so if you want people to watch your long form content, you're going to have to correspondingly spend more money on the promotions for long form videos, which means that in the promotions beta, you have 2 options. If you pick the subscriber option, you're going to end up with viewers that will only watch primarily your 60-second YouTube short clips. Now, if you market on YouTube promotions views, the cost per follower acquisition goes up by about 10 times the dollar amount, 10 times the amount. But on the other hand, you end up with viewers that will actually sit there and watch videos that are full-length videos. And so that is the distinction of what I was trying to get at with the promotions beta program. It's why you guys might have noticed that my subscriber growth has slowed down. The main reason why I slowed down the subscriber growth was because I wasn't really certain what I was paying for. And so to confirm the fact that I did get promotions followers, I had to sit back and allow data to play out so I can extensively confirm just how many viewers did I actually get out of the YouTube promotions program. And it turns out that my international viewership is really strong on my channel. It's not the best for necessarily retention metrics. So the caveat here is because I do, I do grow my channel. I'm trying to grow my channel internationally in English-speaking areas across the world, which means that I've marketed my channel across maybe 70 different countries, like 70 countries, 70, maybe around 50 to 70 different countries. So when I look at the data, and what I have found and discovered is that while YouTube Short subscribers aren't necessarily going to, at the very outset, watch your long form content, they have the potential to drive audience to your long form content by engaging with your short form content. So this is the second pillar of my strategy. The first is promotions. The second pillar is called shorts. And the third pillar of my strategy is called long. I call it the PSL method. And with the PSL method, we create promotions for short form videos. You need to have at least 1 or 2 or 3 long form videos that you can use to start out to just drive audience to the long form video so that they will end up subscribing by using the promotions subscribers tool. When you use the promotions subscribers tool though, keep in mind that they're not going to engage with your long form content at the very outset. However, if you do produce short form content enough times, it will drive the algorithm to eventually surface some of your long form videos to your audience. And I can prove this by showing you the growth in the impressions growth each time I publish short form videos. Not only do short form videos increase the number of impressions that your YouTube videos get, it increases the impressions by a tremendous factor. So the reason why this works, and I think what gets missing is that when it comes to marketing data, not a lot of people have enough money to constantly go back and run experiments and then write algebraic equations to figure out where the money went. In this particular case, I've been able to get roughly 30,000 views from my subscribers from international. So meaning the reason why I drove all this foreign traffic to my channel in the first place was so that I could isolate these viewers. So I know for a fact that these viewers are at least real viewers and they're coming back to me and I don't miss the data because I have US viewers that are separate viewers that come in to the channel later. So kind of hear me out here. Okay, so when I dive deeper into my analytics, I find some very interesting metrics. So for example, on August 2nd, 2024, this is before I started, really driving a lot of YouTube short content to my channel, but I will show you that the impressions on my channel was at 121 impressions. But when I started publishing YouTube Shorts, which started really taking off on my channel, like I started publishing YouTube Shorts on August 11th of 2024. So before that point where, besides spending the money on YouTube promotions, the YouTube promotion subscribers came in. It turns out that the YouTube promotion subscribers of the international variant do actually come back and watch my video. So thankfully, the money I spent marketing my channel actually generated real subscriber acquisition. The thing is, I had to spend time without spending money on the marketing, just spend time reviewing the data so I had a very clear understanding of what I'm paying for as a marketer. And this is key. Like, I need to know this. And anybody who tells you that you can market on the internet without understanding your metrics over time, fuck those guys. They don't know shit. So in the shorts section, you'll notice that for particular video impressions. So this is where my channel really started taking off. It wasn't because I had increased the number of long form videos that I had published. In fact, the reality is that on August 10th, the amount of impressions I got on my channel for any of the long form videos that I had, it went from 100 impressions all the way up to 2,821 impressions. So what that means is that the subscribers that I ended up with, they weren't gonna watch the long form content, but they were gonna watch the short form videos. Now, what's exciting about this is that when I look at my shorts audience, I have some good data here that says that I have in fact got the metrics that say that, hey, these foreign people that, that's why I put them out there in Iraq and all these different countries and stuff, Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, Mexico, the Caribbeans, all across the world. And when I exclude the data and I only look strictly at the last 28 days, okay? But I look strictly at the last 28 days and I look at the geography tab. In the geography tab, I find that roughly 10,000 of my 20,000 subscribers might have come back and watched one of my short videos. So that means that, and another beautiful thing is just because I have a lot of international subscribers, it turns out that at first it has a negative impact on my metrics, but at least I can measure the metrics, because if I were to have just bid on US audience data and then I got more US audience from simply publishing, I wouldn't have been able to isolate whether or not these subscribers are coming in and they're viewing the videos from another country. That's the beauty of being able to isolate data sets. You have to create those isolated sets before you just move on to the next thing. So in this particular case, I got 10,000 views from my subscribers across or from around the world. And then I got primarily, from what I understand, and these are markets that I didn't advertise in, the United States, United Kingdoms, and Canada. I didn't advertise in any of those markets. I was going to, but I didn't really. Besides the USA, where I did have one video, like long form video, so I could test what kind of audiences I would get from that, and those would be the long-form view audiences that a lot of people want, but those are very expensive to purchase. So what I'm finding out is that in terms of my United States audience, right, I got 16,000 views on my shorts, and I got 199 watch hours from it as well on my shorts. So what happened is that even though, some people wouldn't necessarily recommend the promotions tool, blah, 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 now I'm in a position to know that in isolation, when isolating the metrics, when I isolate the data sets so that I know for a fact that I made the promotions purchase, the subscribers, I got 20,000 subscribers that are legitimate subscribers, and half of them may have come back to watch one of my videos again. So it turns out that, by having a foreign subscriber base, it also means that the algorithm will push it out to foreign countries. It also means that when you have foreign viewers, the watch-through rate and the click-through rate and those metrics drop a little bit. But if you're okay with that, then you can actually measure whether or not that subscriber data is actually real subscriber data, because your US data, if you didn't pay for US audiences, and I didn't, I still ended up being able to get the US audience from being able to produce the shorts, because the shorts feed will, circulate and will also, circulate amongst US audiences as well. And so by publishing a lot of YouTube shorts, I was able to get in front of my US audience, and I was able to grow my channel in the United States with another 16,000 views. Now this might not be super impressive, like, some channels might talk about bigger metrics, but keep in mind I'm doing a marketing study while I'm growing my core channel right now. And from what I understand, buying shorts audiences makes perfect financial sense. So I think I'm going to double down and commit to spending even more on promotions for subscribers, because at the very minimum, I know that I'm going to get subscribers that are going to watch my videos in the form of short form content. Which takes me to stage number 2. When you do create short form content, you want to be able to create a volume of content as well. Another thing that I've noticed with short content is, while engagement metrics and all these other factors do contribute to the overall watch time and the viewability, so as long as there's higher viewability and there's a high percentage of people watching through, that might not necessarily apply when you start out with a foreign audience, because the foreign audience, while I did market to people that do know how to speak English, problem is that it's a secondary language. So if somebody was starting out with the expectation of providing language in a 5th grade level to communicate to just the US audience, imagine my situation where I have hyper jargonated vocabulary, talking about super advanced topics and stuff like that, using my ridiculous, postgraduate education level vocabulary or whatever. That's where I come out at. Like, they're like PhD. Like the sentence structure, the grammar, and all the other stuff that I say. Sometimes it's just like, it's incomprehensible for somebody that has never gone to college before. What I will tell you is this. On the short side of the equation, it just turns into a numbers game. You produce, and in my particular case, I produced a lot of shorts. That drove the algorithm so that it would refer audience back to my long form content. And so I just ran another experiment with one of my content. And my long video that was, promoted heavily was my vlog. 2-hour long video, and the traffic source from the browse features. So if anything, we got 364 views as far as browse features were concerned. I consider that to be very good, because ordinarily a lot of the other videos on long form videos, they got like 20, 30 views. But again, I plan on running promotions for subscribers on the videos that flopped, so that I can get more subscribers that I can then turn around and use my YouTube shorts to re-engage that audience, to then make them come into my YouTube channel organically over time. Because as they keep watching more and more of my YouTube shorts, what happens is that the audience starts to recognize you more. And if they find one of your videos to be good, they might come back and watch another video. And then eventually the algorithm will surface more videos in the feed, so they'll watch another video and another video And so it turns out that it's really at the very outset a bit of a volume game when it pertains to YouTube Shorts as well, especially if you're using the promotions method, which I'm a business guy. I spend money on marketing, and I like to use marketing to amplify anything I do. And if I can use marketing and my common sense with advertising dollars to grow my YouTube channel quickly, then I'm very curious and I want to understand what is the best practice for doing that. So going back to the marketing study, we know for a fact that this particular video, Celebrate My Birthday with My Fitness Coach, featuring, so this video, there might be a number of factors why it might have performed better. Girl in the subject thumbnail. But I really think that the main reason why was simply because of the fact that of all the content that the algorithm chose for my audience, it was Celebrate My Birthday. Even though it's not, like, it hasn't built up to a tremendous audience, we have observable data right now. And that's why I'm pointing to it, so I can figure out what I'm doing with my marketing budget, right? Like, everybody wants to spend. You know, I spend money on marketing, guys. I have a healthy relationship with that. If you guys think that I spend money on marketing doesn't make me legitimate, well, that's too bad. The world doesn't always work the way that you want it to work. This is also a very, very interesting metric for my content. So with my content right here, you'll find that it's still growing. It has a terrible, average viewership percentage view through rate. The algorithm on the long side is still gonna take up space, and all these people that were just watching a bunch of my short videos, now they're starting to get interested, and now they're starting to at least surface the video to those shorts viewers, at least one of the long form pieces of content. And we have been able to generate roughly around 15,000 impressions. I think those 15,000 new impressions for the video primarily came from the people that had engaged with and had a high watch through rate on YouTube Shorts, okay? So once that happened, now you're able to watch the metrics turn back around and flip so that it feeds into the long form content again. And on the long form content side of things, I saw my impressions go to 15,000 and I had a 2% click-through rate. So roughly speaking, we're looking at about 420 views based upon a 2% number. And of that amount, the unique viewers were 346 people. The algorithm surfaced it to more people. I got a unique set of viewers that watched it for a very first time, but then some people came back and watched it more than once as well, a couple of times. And so that would be the unique viewers versus the total number of viewers. But more than just that, the biggest thing that I caught onto with regards to watching the growth in my metrics was this. All right, guys, for the next part of this video, I'm gonna talk about the third pillar of the strategy. So I told you about the promotions. And I told you guys that you should definitely use YouTube promotions in order to grow your audience. Particularly, the subscribers do help if you produce short form content, which is pillar number 2, create good short form content. However, the third pillar of the strategy is to go back to long form content as well. And so as a third pillar of the strategy in PSL, the long form content you want to produce in a regular schedule. With my particular strategy, what seems to be working is the volume of long form videos that I'm producing. And then what I do is I cut 1-minute sound bites from the long form videos that I create. And then I publish those shorts and put those back in front of my shorts audience. Eventually, what I expect is that people will discover the shorts that you create from the long form content. And when you make that transition to having long form content as a regular staple as a part of your channel, and also cut the long form videos and then provide a link to those long form videos on your short videos, what happens is what I just kind of showed you. The organic growth of long form content driven by the discovery from short form content. So the third pillar is making sure that you have long form content to begin with. PSL. This strategy will make you successful on YouTube. The metrics will make you successful as long as you're persistent and you work very hard and produce a lot of quality videos to go along with it. Now you're probably asking, but Alex, I don't have money to pay for promotions. I understand how that feels because we could all use more money, but if growth is the most important thing to you, the advertising algorithm is much more powerful than the organic algorithm at driving that upfront lift to your audience or driving the subscriber figures you need to then establish somewhat of an audience. So what I would recommend for new content creators starting out, if they're in a similar situation like I am, where they have an existing business where they can put money into the promotions program, that would be a good start. Otherwise, you're probably going to have to pull from some other form of income source, like your employment, your job source of income, so that you can actually boost the growth of your channel by leveraging the promotions part of the strategy. When it pertains to long form content, because your audience at the very outset is going to be concentrated as short form view audience, you're going to have to be more patient on your long form view content. Much of the long form view content that you're going to get at the very outset is going to come from the promotion views. However, because you did purchase promotion views for subscribers, those promotion views won't necessarily engage with your long form content all that well. So I would recommend that you would use videos that aren't performing as well on the organic algorithm, and then use the promotions to drive subscriber growth through that particular video, because that particular video wasn't going to get circulated that well anyways, but you can still use it as a subscriber source when running the promotions. Generally speaking though, promotions accelerates the growth of your channel by a factor of, I think, 20, 50 times. It's ridiculous. Paired with the fact that if you have a lot of short form content and you can produce short form content regularly, then you're going to be in an even better position. What I would recommend with short form content is that you film using a full frame mirrorless camera, and then you tilt your mirrorless camera sideways in the vertical horizontal alignment so that you can rapidly produce vertical content for your channel. And when I transitioned to using my actual mirrorless Sony camera versus using my smartphone, it increased my workflow by a tremendous factor, mainly because of the fact that the iCloud storage slows down your ability to actually upload the videos to the iCloud and then bring it back down into your iCloud folder where you can access it. So generally speaking, when you're filming YouTube Shorts, I recommend that you buy an actual camera and then you buy a tripod that allows you to orient your camera vertically. That way you can produce short content for your channel that's specific to the channel as far as short form content. When you have long form content, the dimensions of the content won't be exactly right because you filmed it in the horizontal format like what I'm doing right now. So what I do is that I set my resolution at 2048 by 1080 on DaVinci Resolve. And then I set the zoom aspect ratio at 0.5. That way you can easily cut soundbite 1-minute segments from your long form videos and publish that to your YouTube Shorts feed as well. Another thing that I've noticed is that YouTube Shorts, you can publish roughly around 5 to 6 videos at most in a particular day before you start to see some degradation in results because of the volume that you do produce at. What I've also noticed is that by simply having more YouTube Short videos, what the algorithm does is that it eventually finds a window to alert your subscriber base, but it'll only limit the alerts to about 3 times per day. But at the same time, the remaining videos will show up on the home page as well, and they'll get later on they'll also provide alerts that show up on the bottom right corner of your desktop, or maybe even smartphone notifications as well. So the key is you need to produce long form videos with your shorts to make this strategy work. The reason why this is very effective is because in your long form content, a lot of times it takes a lot of watch time for the audience to finally discover the key nugget of gold or the key point or the key interest segment that you could really highlight. What I recommend is that you find moments in your long form videos that you can cut and then reposition that content on YouTube Shorts, paired with the fact that you also produce videos specific for YouTube Shorts. This is so that you can directly engage the subscribers that you just netted from the promotions program, but also when you put videos on the YouTube Shorts feed, even if you do have an international audience at the very outset, the discovery algorithm will eventually distribute your audience, will distribute the content to US viewers as well. Because US audience is so expensive to pay for, I have found that leveraging shorts and building that foreign audience at the very outset, it slows down your snowball effect in some regards, but you're able to build subscriber momentum a lot more quickly. And if you leverage short form content and the long form content to create even more short form content, what you end up in a situation is the type of user audience viewership growth that's exponential for a smaller channel like myself. Because my strategy is predicated on going broad with my audience and stuff like that, the metrics for getting humongous viewership or virality might not be there. But the benefit of the fact is that you're still able to engage your audience using the short form content to make them watch your longer form videos. Paired with the fact that you'll always have an audience for your short form content as you start building that relationship to where they might watch some of your longer form videos. And that starts to be a humongous benefit to you as the subscribers growth figures start to get into larger and not larger numbers. And so in my particular case, based on my budgeting and where I think I'm going to go with my PSL method, I think that in terms of pure acquisition, I think I can buy and acquire 150,000 subscribers across the world. And then I'm hoping to drive some of that promotions growth via organic content, via leveraging the shorts feed as I had just shown you, and then also cutting up long form videos into 1-minute segments that can also be put on your short feed. So in this case, my approach is production volume, production scale, and production efficiency. So being able to repurpose some of your longer form videos, being purposeful about how you shoot your short form videos so you can efficiently get those videos in and get those cuts going within minutes rather than waiting on your phone to sync with iCloud. Those type of little details are what's going to help you actually get to a point where you can produce a lot of short form content, start experimenting, start building out those metrics so that you can understand what forms of videos are performing better, what forms of video are performing worse. And with a humongous quantity of short form videos that come as a part of the package with this PSL strategy, you're basically able to net a humongous organic audience this way, paired with the promotion grab that you got as well. So in my particular case, it's hard to measure the attrition of subscribers because there is subscriber attrition that comes from advertising. Yet at the same time, we also gained subscribers, but that subscriber gain is starting to pick up and it's not very well defined yet as to just how many subscribers shorts will drive for my particular channel as I make another push using promotions. But the bottom line is that promotions, when combined with shorts, when leveraged with long form content where you cut the segments down into 1-minute segments, and then on top of that, the shorts then drive the audience back to your long form content, all of that plays into the odds of you going from a loser to a winner relatively quickly. Now, on the other hand, I do want to mention though that you are going to have to be okay with spending money on advertising. No, my last year budget on advertising was like $50,000 for my business. So when I get excited and I see opportunities like this, I'm like, man, I can't wait to spend $10,000, $50,000, $100,000 on promotions because now I'm in a situation to leverage that audience by building short form content for them, leveraging the short form news feed to eventually circulate to other audiences throughout the entire world. That audience will then discover my long form content as they are able to watch some of the short form content. And as a result, the promotions, the shorts, and the long form spiral begins. And that's when your growth numbers start to get ridiculous. That's why I went through a period of stagnancy on my growth, but it's not really stagnancy. As you guys can see, I grew my audience retention, and my watch time hours all at the same time. The watch time hours are the most interesting aspect because it means that now the audience is hooked. Another thing that I noticed is that if you look very carefully in your YouTube tab, In your audience tab, you will find a thing called returning viewers right here. Now, you might see it, you might not, but the key is driving that returning viewership growth. So outside of the promotions window, what do you think really happened here that drove the spike inside of the returning viewers right here, right? Well, the returning viewership is starting to spike higher. So, based on the algorithm, you have three key metrics that I understand correctly. You have your click-through rate, your watch time percentage, how much of the video people are watching as a percentage of the video. And the third and final most important metric is the returning viewership, the people that are willing to come back and watch your videos. So as you can see in this particular graph, as soon as the returning viewership, so the number of people, the audience, is starting to come back. So once the audience, like your audience is engaged with your content, they start watching it and they come back to watch more and more of it, that means that your content is gonna satisfy the third and most important aspect of the algorithm, which is, do people want to come back and watch whatever you produce? And if you can generate a regular viewing audience for your content, that is the key signal that will drive distribution through the organic algorithm. Now, on the promotion side of the algorithm, where you spend advertising dollars, your best bang for your buck is somewhere in Eastern Europe right now. From my testing, I find that that audience is particularly good because they don't cost as much per follower acquisition, and English is still spoken more commonly in Eastern Europe and more commonly, but more fluently as well. So you can expect a higher level of English literacy, but also the cost benefit of the followers are also really, really good when you start digging into Eastern Europe countries. We're talking about Czechoslovakia, basically, that got split, Ukraine, Poland, Latvia, the Eastern European bloc, guys. So those type of ads cost a lot less on a per 1,000 impression basis, but also I find that those audiences in those particular areas also have higher English literacy. So you can get to foreign viewers that will actually sit there and watch your videos and will actually come back and watch your videos. Another market that I liked pursuing a lot with my promotions campaign was actually, believe it or not, India. The Indian audience, the long form viewership campaign did produce pretty decent subscriber numbers, but it also signaled that there is a there's like a small proportion of the Indian population that is very, very English fluent. And if you target that particular audience, what I have found is that the long form promotions views in India, and you switch on the English as your option, that particular market is very, very good because you're not paying as much money to get to an English speaking audience. And what I found is that it's not so much that the subscribers, I don't think the promotion subscribers is as effective per se out of India, but I did get 1,000 people to come back and watch my short form videos. The real value to me when I market my videos in India is for the people that are actually hyperly engaged viewers that are living in India that can speak English at a much higher level of fluency. And you can kind of limit your audience to just those people by simply filtering them out to the algorithm, where people who can actually sit there and watch videos for a long amount of time probably understand the English language. So people are not just going to sit there and just watch a video if they don't understand it. So a lot of times what happens when you're advertising and you're promoting your channel in foreign markets, sometimes those viewers turn into zombie subscribers, not because of anything that you did wrong. You did advertise to people that do speak English. They presume to know how to speak English very well, but oftentimes those audiences might not necessarily engage with your content as much, and that might have a negative impact temporarily on your algorithm before it starts flushing out in a month or two. And those those less active accounts will stop being a factor in the algorithm. And it turns out that newer audiences, through the discovery of shorts and various other things, will start lifting up your algorithmic organic reach for your long form content. This is what I studied and figured out. The point of the matter is that even if you do go to some of these countries that have an English speaking population, they might not have it at a very high level of fluency universally. It might just be a secondary language. So in that particular case, you want to optimize for viewership, like in markets like India, where there are a viewing audience that will be hyperly engaged in just watching English-based content. And those English binge viewers are really, really good. I'll show you a graph of a particular video that I ran where the content was, it's informational content, but we were able to get, a pretty decent amount of, people to subscribe. Like I think I got like roughly 30 subscribers from it. But more than just that, we were able to get potentially more subscribers that had a higher level of fluency if there were going to be long-term watchers. But again, India is a bit of a hit and miss. I think if I were to do it, it would have to be in English watch views rather than subscribers. And then in that particular case, you would hope that the people that would be engaged, viewers of content that can read English, will actually sit there and watch. But again, I think there's a lot of value to promoting some of your content into the Indian audience. It's just hard to find that hyper fluent English speaking Indian audience. And I think there's a lot of competition for them as well. So another option that I found to be very interesting when I was running promotions was also Mexico. Mexico is an interesting market, mainly because of the fact that it's so close to the United States. And a decent chunk of the Mexican population also speaks English. Chances are people from Mexico will also migrate back and forth from the United States. So you might end up getting a bit more of a user base acquisition there, a benefit, because the cost of the Mexican promotions and advertising campaigns are about 60 to about 70% cheaper on a per 1,000 impression basis from when I compared it to the United States. But at the same time, even if you optimize around English-speaking Spanish people, that doesn't necessarily mean that they will come back and engage with your content at a really high rate, but they still engage with the content. I saw a pretty decent number of people from Mexico that still watch my videos right now. And from my perspective, when I'm building, my business and my brand for a service product, a mobile application that I'm about to launch in about 5 months, goal here is I don't care where you come from. I really don't. I just care for a fact that you're actually there, that you're watching, that you find anything that I do interesting, because at some point in the future, we are going to be deploying this technology, and this technology will be made universally available in more markets than just the United States. It's going to be across the entire world. I'm going to make sure that I can deploy this technology at large scale so that we can achieve a singular way. Hey, we have a global product, we have a global service platform, and we're building to that. And me personally, I find it very fulfilling to be able to share what I know, information, technology, advice, whatever's going on, to the best of my ability by leveraging this particular platform here on YouTube. And what I particularly like is the fact that, as you study and develop your methods, your processes, and your technique, you'll find more leverage for growth. And because I'm driving this channel so that I can then have a more successful mobile application launch, the key is growing the channel and using the money that you do have very effectively. Now, some of you guys might not need to sell a mobile application, so the stakes might not be that high. In my particular case, I don't want to deploy an application and rely purely upon paid acquisition for app installs. I really think that there's a good case for building up audience. And in my particular case, in my budgeted case, I'm thinking that I can grow my audience to about 250,000 subscribers using the method. And then organically, I'll probably add maybe 10, 50,000 subscribers on an organic basis. But the key is that the organic growth is natural growth. And it probably would have happened anyways, the 20, 30,000 subscribers. But maybe it would just end up at just being that. If I hadn't used the promotions, by leveraging the promotions and the organic growth, my target is somewhere at around 300,000 subscribers over the next 6 months. Although it's not just I do love the fact that in the United States, like I am gaining way more audience, but I also want to make sure that we can get in front of people all throughout the world, because you just never know. In a technology business, it's less about being, a local, business, and more about being able to scale and being able to build that brand and that trust and that relationship early. And I want to build that trust and that relationship early because we're deploying a service that can be run across the entire world. And that's the reason why I'm doing all of this stuff, because my particular case is different from other people's. As long as I know for a fact that I'm getting quality subscribers in foreign markets and I can engage them with my short form content, then come back with long form content and cut that long form content into 1 minute soundbite segments for shorts, and then publish the shorts, and that will then point the audience back to the long form videos. Like I'm telling you guys, the organic strategy is also very powerful behind this, but more than just the organic strategy as a whole, it's being able to simply have the discipline to stick through it, to keep publishing, to keep maintaining your production volume. Production volume is the key ingredient for a guy like me right now, because I need production volume more than anything else in order to build my audience. It's not enough to just depend upon marketing, promotions, and if your volume, if you're not producing a lot of shorts, you're not producing a lot of long form content, you're not going to build that content library. And without a decent enough of a content library, you're not going to be able to basically anticipate the passive audience flow that's going to come through your channel over time to help build up the totality of total channel views at a much quicker pace. So you want more channel views, then your best bet is to provide as much content and to build that library really quickly. That's why I like YouTube Shorts so freaking much, because it helps you build a content library and it gives you a touch point to get in front of a viewer at one step at a time, one little bit at a time. And as you keep doing that, that becomes the opportunity to establish trust and relationship with your audience, which then results in people coming in, watching your longer videos, understanding more of who you are. And then that's where you can position your brand, your products, your sponsors, if you have sponsors, or your affiliate links and stuff like that. And right now, I don't make money on YouTube, as you can tell. I buy equipment, I spend my own money marketing, acquiring users. I'm running, advertising tests, A/B tests, running tests so that I can figure out like isolated incidences. So that's why I'm not doing certain activities, so I can isolate for a specific data and variable, so I know what that is and how valuable it is. And once I figure that out, then I realize that this is pretty much a wrap. All I have to do is keep promoting videos, keep producing shorts, keep producing long form videos, and then I just have to cut the long form videos into sound bites to produce even more shorts. And then I just have a bunch of shorts, a bunch of long form videos, and I have videos that are specific to just YouTube Shorts. I have videos that are specific to just YouTube Long. And then I have hybridized videos that cut from the long form videos and get distributed via shorts. So production volume and the broadness of being able to rank for a broad number of search key terms helps me out, because now I'm in more places at the same time. And then the more places I have placed with content and information, then that's going to drive awareness to my channel. So the goal is that you have to leverage all three of these pillars. And the fourth aspect of it is volume. You want to work on your volume of production. I kind of hinted at that, but even if you don't have tremendous volume, I see other YouTube influencers that use a combination of some of these strategies to grow their channels, and they might have less frequency and stuff like that on the long form content. But at the very minimum, I would recommend having at least a short video, a 60-second video come out once per day. Let's have at least one YouTube short. You can increase the velocity or the number of shorts as it seems appropriate. You might have recorded individual shorts videos in the vertical format from your camera. You might have also cut some videos from your long form content into the short form videos. And while it's not necessarily about, hey, look at, the super virality metrics, some of your videos will go and become more viral. Some videos will perform worse. And the beauty of the shorts algorithm is that it's not a static algorithm, meaning that, a short that got produced 8 weeks ago, 10 weeks ago, they still get views even a year, 2 years down the road. So as long as you generate good enough of content and you have enough places where people can be positioned to find the content, or it surfaces enough time, and you're also able to generate that retention window that's somewhat decent, at least 80% is what most people say. From my personal testing, I found that above 100%, if somebody watches your video more than once, and boom, that organic algorithm will kick in and it'll start distributing your short videos up and down the reel feed or the shorts feed. So if you do that, if you do what I'm telling you to do, the way I'm doing it, assuming you're in a circumstance where you can. Now, if you can't use money, you can't buy the advertising, the YouTube promotions, I think the first thing you might want to work on is just economics. Improve your economics just to a point where you can at least, cut down the amount of time to at least, get those subscribers. Because I'm seeing a lot of YouTubers talking about, I just broke 1,000, YouTube subscribers, and they're on like month 15 on their YouTube journey. And I feel really bad because I'm in a situation where I can just leverage my business to just keep paying more money for ads. And then I can justify to everybody else at my business that, hey, look, this YouTube channel is going to generate value for my business and the brand and the products that we're developing. So I can justify spending money on just audience growth. I would also preface the fact that just spending money alone in isolation is not good enough. You have to work really hard. You have to work really hard, and you have to be really consistent. If you're spending your own money to grow your channel, you don't want that money to be wasted. You want to be in a position where your growth is accelerated and you're generating the necessary activity to help further compel that growth forward. And that's what I'm telling you guys to do. What I've been telling people at VideoCon, when I was at VidCon over in Anaheim just like a couple months ago as well, is I do all the things that you would normally do to organically grow your channel and try and see if the marketing promotions type algorithm is actually going to work for you. Because if you're kind of static and you need to find a different audience real quickly so that your channel can go in a different direction, because you might just be in that weird position where you have dead subscribers. Like you have an old YouTube account with like 500,000 subscribers. You used to film with a different influencer. That's where you got the subscribers. But if you put out a video, those subscribers won't come back to watch you. And that's perfectly fine, because all you have to do is spend money on promotions to find a new group of subscribers that will then engage with your content as you dump the content into the shorts feed. Then you provide the long form content, then you soundbite cut the long form content into short form content. And boy, does that flywheel spin really, really quickly. And when I mean really quickly, I mean like it is going so freaking fast that when I see my growth metrics, I kind of feel guilty for the fact that I'm sitting on top of this much growth. And I actually do operate a business model that affords me, that puts me in a position where I can afford to spend money on marketing. Although I wish I could always spend more money on marketing. I always feel that way. So I hope you guys got something from this episode. It is pretty much a quick summary of everything I learned in the first 90 days of being back on YouTube. And in the 90 days that I've been back on YouTube, I think I produced over 155 videos. So I'm at about 152 videos, okay? And my shorts views are about 30 to 40,000 views. And my long form views are at about 80,000, driven by advertising budget. But the beauty of it is that our watch time hours are trending way higher now. Our growth metrics are insatiably good. And we've at least figured out where the promotions budget is effective and how it impacts the channel. So when I spend my money on the next batch of advertising, I can leverage my strategy in conjunction with my advertising to further accelerate the growth of my YouTube channel. I think you guys might have found something completely different from this video from all the other YouTube gurus out there. The reason is because you can't just create this by just looking it up on the internet. Sometimes you have to develop your own method of studying information and data, and you have to run specific experiments that trigger specific variables that help you isolate data. Then you can use that isolated data to figure out how much money you're spending in relation to what you're getting as far as that audience contribution. And I'm just gonna leave you at that. I hope you guys succeed on YouTube. I'm not asking for your money for a YouTube course or anything like that. I just hope you guys do well.